been behind enemy lines for 10 days. No water, minimum rations. I made it this far. I ain't gonna stop now. The first contact I've had, less than 300 yards away. I'm fucking having it. Loaded magazine. Oscar Bravo Charlie Delta 19er. I'm calling in. Enemy sighted. Checking wind. 1.6 degrees south. 7.9 variation upwards. Hold steady. Taking aim. Steady. Fire! Tango there.
Alright guys, it's Benny2595 and that was Raccoon 420, that little intro there. I'm not gonna lie, it took quite a few attempts to get that intro spot on. The reason being is just, we were laughing the whole time. Every intro you seem to do a different thing, which just, well, I was laughing my tits off. This commentary is a special commentary. It really is. I'm very pleased and proud to announce that on my channel, at the very least. I mean, I know Raccoon 420 did a commentary similar to this sort of commentary a month or two back. So I'll leave a link in the description of that commentary, as well as to TheMerk and Raccoon 420. So please go check that out. Yes, this is a commentary concerning a podcast that myself, TheMerk and Raccoon, as I've just said, will be sort of taking part in, and this commentary is basically to inform you guys of that happening and what to expect, and sort of, I don't know, a way for you guys to give us feedback on a few things that we want to cover. Specifically, what you'd suggest we firstly talk about. I mean, we've got a few ideas, but so talk about in the podcast, and also the times and dates that you guys would, I don't know, prefer that we did it. I mean, personally, I would suggest to Merc and Raccoon and to you guys. Again, I want to know your response to this, but Monday would be a good night, because well, the reason being is Tuesday there's a PTFO, which is Play the Fucking Objective, which is done by the Yosh guys. That's a newly formed podcast which is doing very, very well. So that sort of dominates Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I'm not so sure about Wednesdays. There was a reason why I was a bit unsure about doing the podcast on Wednesdays, but I can't think at this very moment in time. Thursdays is clearly taken up by PKA, which is the Painkiller Already podcast, which is run by Woody's Gamer Tag, Wings of Redemption and Kyle. So that's pretty much a no-go area. Fridays, the reason for Fridays, Saturday and Sunday is, well, particularly Friday and Saturdays, is usually during the night. A lot of people are busy, a lot of people tend to go out. I mean, personally, I work Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights anyway, and there's the odd Sunday, whether it be in Bank Holiday Monday, that I'll be working. So, I mean, I'd rather avoid those nights, personally, guys. I mean, I want us all to be there. I don't want any weeks where someone's not on, if that makes sense. So I'd personally avoid those nights and those dates. But yeah, Monday, start of the week, it's, you know, get you off to a good start in the week, I think. In terms of content, it's, as I've yet to say, basically, I want it to be Call of Duty community based, you know, YouTube scene, Twitter scene, gaming community. In terms of Call of Duty in particular, that's basically what we are directing in terms of the content, material, whatever you want. That's what it's going to be focused on. It's not just going to be that though. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be comedy and there's going to be banter. Well, it's going to be a lot of fucking banter. I can guarantee you that right now. Between myself and Merc and Raccoon. I think when we eventually get a bit of a following together, I mean, I know we've talked about this, but we'd love to get some guests on, like a single person each week once we get, you know, a bit more recognition. So we get it again. So we can give a bit of a shout out in a way, because I mean, that's one thing that I was sort of put off. I don't know, I can't really speak for the rest of the guys, but I get the impression they'd sort of agree. It's one thing I was put off with is starting the podcast, I don't know, a month or two back when we had the idea, is we didn't really have a following. I mean, I think I'm the smallest out of the three of us, and we are small channels. So what we initially wanted to do was if we wanted to do it, we wanted it to be successful, and let's face it, given the certain climate of the Twitch and of the YouTube scene at the minute, a lot of it's based on subscription numbers and viewer numbers, and if you know certain people. So I think the fact that we've waited a bit, it's benefited us quite a lot. I mean, At the minute, our Twitch TV channel, links will be in description. It's www.twitch.tv/Tango Down Podcast. I think it stands on 104 followers, and that's purely down to the fact that as a collective we've started streaming a month or two back. Again, in preparation, because one thing I want to stress with this podcast is it's going to be, or what we aim for it to be heavily sort of audience participation and interaction based. That's key for us. I mean, we don't want you to be like your typical podcast where you're sort of sitting back. We want you to feel involved. We want it to be a podcast for the community, we want it to be a voice. Put it that way. We want it to be a voice, and we are well aware that a lot of the other podcasts, again, I'm not naming them all, other podcasts that I've yet to mention as well as Spawn Track Retribution, they don't do the podcast live. That's sort of done behind closed doors. That's by Chuck the Gate and NASA. That's a very good podcast and also a very good template to work off. And I think FNG podcast, but I don't really watch that. I must admit, I don't really watch that. But yeah, back to what I was saying. We are aware that there are a lot of people out there, not just within the podcasts sort of category, but just in terms of YouTube in general, that avoid certain issues. They either sugarcoat it or they tiptoe around the issues, whereas that is not the case. That's not what you are going. We promise we will not do that. We'll hit issues and topics head on, and I don't give a shit. Merk doesn't give a shit, and Raccoon certainly doesn't give a shit when it comes to certain things like that. So that's what we want. We want to be a voice for the I don't know, for you guys out there, the smaller people out there who feel like they're not getting the that sort of interaction, that they feel like they're not part of the community, if that makes sense. And we want to sort of, extinguish that sort of stigma. Again, we want to make it like a collective thing, a participation thing, and it all starts here. That's the first thing that we want to know: times, dates, topics, what you guys want us to talk about, and we will talk about it. And hopefully, it's something that will flourish and become very successful. So yeah, thanks for watching this commentary, guys. If you've got anything you want to say, post it in the comments below. Again, you can contact myself, Merk, Raccoon420. Links will be in the description to the Twitters. I think Twitter's the best thing to contact us on, guys, because we get a lot of spam when it comes to YouTube, and I certainly do. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know what you think about the podcast. Check out all the links if possible. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.